Hello everyone, and welcome to another dark ground video. In this video, do aliens exist? In these stories of abduction, the people involved would definitely say so. So stay tuned for more. Hello everyone, and welcome to your next installment of the Dark Ground series. And as you heard from the intro, in this video, I will be reading you out some stories of alien abduction, and then leaving you to make up your mind whether you believe they are true or not. So without further ado, the first story of abduction that I will be telling you are the Allagash alien abductions. So, in 1974, four friends in their early 20s went camping in rural Maine. On the second night, they noticed a very bright light, but nothing more. On the third night, they decided to try night fishing. In the canoe, they noticed the bright light again. One of the men used a flashlight to flash light in an SOS pattern at the light. The light then expanded and enveloped all four men. That's the last thing they remember. They woke up back at their campsite with no recollection of what ended up happening with the light or how they got off the water. The fire they'd stoked up before they'd left minutes ago, intending it to still be burning when they returned, was completely burned down to embers. Now, the aftermath of this story. Just to get you on. Jack Weiner was the first to start having nightmares. In these dreams, he saw beings with long necks and large heads. He saw the beings examining his arm, while Jim, Chuck, and Charlie sat on a nearby bench, not able to intervene. The beings had large metallic glowing eyes with no lids, and their hands were insect-like with 4 fingers. The other 3 men were experiencing very similar dreams with short mental clips of that night on the lake. In 1988, out of curiosity, Jim Weiner attended a UFO conference hosted by Raymond Fowler. Weiner met Fowler afterwards and related his strange encounter. The investigator was excited about Jim's story, especially the fact that it was a multiple witness occurrence. Fowler suggested to Jim that he and the others undergo regressive hypnosis. After the sessions, it was revealed that all 4 of the men had memories of being abducted and subjected to humiliating physical examinations, including the taking of skin and fluid samples. The description of the aliens were consistent. The 4 men, being artists, were able to make detailed sketches of the entities, the craft, and the examining instruments. Chuck Rack added that the aliens' test area was similar to a vet's office, with a silvery table. He also related a strange fact. He had much difficulty in focusing on the aliens. When he tried, he could not put an exact image to them. He compared it to trying to tune into a fuzzy radio station. After the psychiatric examinations, all 4 of the men were deemed to be mentally stable, and they all passed lie detector tests. First interesting story there. The next alien abduction story we have for you today is the Pascagoula alien abduction. In 1973, 2 co-workers were fishing off a pier on the Pascagoula River when they heard a buzzing sound and saw flashing blue lights. A UFO appeared and 3 humanoid creatures dragged them on board. Inside the craft, they were examined for about 20 minutes before being levitated back to the pier. Afterwards, they went to the police station to report what happened. While the detectives left the 2 alone in the room, their conversation was unknowingly recorded, and this is the conversation that ensued. I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. You can't make people believe. I don't want to keep sitting here. I want to see a doctor. They better wake up and start believing. They better start believing. You can see how that damn door came right up. I don't know how it opened, son. I don't know. It just laid up. And just like that, those she's just like that. They came out. I know. Can't believe it. You can't make people believe it. I paralysed right then. I couldn't move. They won't believe it. They're gonna believe it they're gonna believe it one of these days. Might be too late. I know all along there was people from other worlds up there. I know all along. I never thought it would happen to me. So, second story there. Third one is Betty and Barney Hill alien abduction. In 1961, a married couple, both normal by all accounts and leaders in their community, were driving home from a vacation at Niagara Falls when they saw what they thought was a falling star, but it moved around in the sky and began to grow bigger. They decided to drive slowly along the road and follow the light as it grew closer to them in the sky, eventually stopping in the middle of the highway as the object hovered only 80 to 100 feet from them. At this point, Barley Hill commits a horror movie no-no and gets out of the car to get a closer look. After seeing a craft with 8 to 11 humanoid creatures in black uniforms on it, he screamed, "They're going to capture us," and ran back to the car, and the couple drove home. A trip that should have taken 3 hours mysteriously took 7. The Hills could not account for the missing time. Additionally, a lot of other strange things happened, leading to them to conclude they had been abducted. So here's some more on the case. Arriving home at about dawn, the Hills assert that they had some odd sensation and impulses they could not readily explain. Betty insisted their luggage be kept near the back door rather than in the main part of the house. Their watches would never run again. Barney noted that the leather strap for the binoculars was torn, though he could not recall it tearing. The toes of his best dress shoes were inexplicably scrapped. Barney says he was compelled to examine his genitals in the bathroom, though he found nothing unusual. They took long showers to remove possible contamination and each drew a picture of what they had observed. Their drawings were strikingly similar. Perplexed, the Hills say they tried to reconstruct the chronology of events they had witnessed the UFO and drove home. But immediately after they heard the buzzing sounds, their memories became incomplete and fragmented. They vaguely recalled a luminous moon shape sitting on the road. Barney recalled saying, "Oh no, not again." Betty thought Barney had taken a sharp left turn off Route 3. After sleeping for a few hours, Betty awoke and placed the shoes and clothing she had worn during the drive into her closet, observing that the dress was torn at the hem, zipper, and lining. Later, she retrieved the items from her closet. She noticed a pinkish powder on her dress. She hung the dress on her clothesline and the pink powder blew away, but the dress was irreparably damaged. She threw it away, but then changed her mind, retrieving the dress and hanging it in her closet. Over the years, 5 laboratories have conducted chemical and forensic analysis on the dress. There were shiny concentric circles on their car's trunk that had not been there the previous day. Betty and Barney experimented with the compass, noting that when they moved it close to the spots, the needle would whirl rapidly, but when they moved it a few inches away from the shiny spots, it would drop down. And a final note, as time passed, Betty and Barney remembered more and more details of their abduction. story number 3 there. Story number 4, Jesse Long, alien abduction. Or rather, sorry, no. It's to be the Antonio Villas-Boas alien abduction. So, Antonio Villas-Boas was a Brazilian farmer who was working at night because it was too hot to work during the day when he saw a red star in the sky. As the light grew larger, he tried to drive away in his tractor, but it died. He then tried running away when he was accosted by 4 humanoid creatures that dragged him into the now landed craft. They stripped him, covered him with a weird gel, and then took blood samples. This is where things got weirder. A female humanoid creature appeared, and they had sex. Some hand motions followed that Boas took to mean he had impregnated the creature and that she was going to leave, have the child, and raise it wherever she was from. Then they gave him a tour of their spaceship before dropping him off. He went on to become a lawyer and have a family, if that means anything to you as to whether he was crazy. So, the next story, Clayton and Donna Lee abduction. And it goes as follows. A Texas-based husband and wife claim to have been abducted by aliens multiple times, including once where a fetus was stolen from Donna by the alien trespassers. Clayton claims that he was a child visiting the park the very first time he was abducted, and that he feels the aliens might be studying him through his life. And this is what a quote from what he said. I remember just floating up higher. Well, Donna Lee recounted after her experience. And all that was around was stars and blackness, and then I blacked out. The couple have had their memories of this event awakened by local psychologist who ironically doesn't actually believe in aliens herself. They both have drawn sketches of the aliens and appeared on multiple media outlets to talk about the stories, including on the O'Reilly Factor. And here is a transcript. Alright, you were abducted multiple amounts of times. Yes. Did you ever talk to the abductees? I mean, did they tell you where they were from or anything? No, that I don't have any remembering of at all, having the conversation, no. So they just swept you up away somewhere. Where'd they put you? Different places, different times. I've had memories of being on what I consider the ship, because I know it was some place other than any place I'd ever visited before. So you were in some kind of vehicle? Yes, it was a vehicle, a room. It was very cold. Metal, a lot of metal. Did you see the aliens? Yes. What do they look like? What I saw on that particular visit, they were quite tall. No, they were tall, slender, blonde, looked human, but not human, not quite human. Alright. They didn't really use their voices to talk. And the follow-up. The couple say they remain worried about being abducted almost daily, but they want to live their lives regardless. So, the last story I will bring you is the Gundia McKay alien abduction. So, in a chilling story that 3 different people were involved in, a 22-year-old named Amy was abducted right out of the window of her lounge room by some sort of flying craft. Amy's husband Keith had already gone to bed, while her friend Petra stayed up to read in another room. Petra was abruptly disrupted by a blinding light coming from the lounge room and the sound of shattering glass. The rectangular beam of light was shining into the room, and according to Petra, she saw Amy being pulled out of the window by the light, still apparently asleep. Keith then woke up and both he and Petra searched the house and surrounding area for Amy, who was nowhere to be seen. Keith eventually called the police. Amy eventually turned up miles away with strange marks on her inner thigh and bizarrely extensive body hair growth. Bless me. So, those were 6 true stories of alien abduction, or at least true to the people that experienced them. Now, it's up to you. What do you believe? You can make up your own conclusion from this video. And on the site I have found there are a lot more stories which I shall put in a follow-up video. But like I said, now it's up to you. What do you believe? Write your opinions in the comments below. If you know anyone that's had experiences like that, also write them in the comment below. Or even if you think you've seen alien stuff yourself, please write in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe, and also follow our Twitter accounts, our channel account, and our own personal account, which will be in the description below. And the closing word. Thank you for watching this video of the Dark Ground, and remember, what's under the bed is not the only thing that you should be scared of. Until next time, don't have nightmares, sleep tight.